Thanks for staying with us on SABC News. Debt Busters does an annual survey on financial stress in South Africa. The head of Debt Busters, Benay Sager, joins me now. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Just tell me about that money stress tracker. How many people did you speak to, and what were some of the insights that came out of that?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. I think many of you would know us from our debt counseling work, and we wanted to broaden the reach and relevance to really understand how people who are not in debt counseling, how they're feeling when it comes to debt stress, money stress, and what they're actually doing about it. So we surveyed 35,000 people, quite a large survey, an online survey. They were asked about 15 or 16 questions about their attitudes towards stress, money, and what are the causes of stress. And I think I would say the significant finding is, this is the second year we're doing this large-scale survey. The most significant finding is across the board, we all seem to be more stressed about money compared to a year ago. Perhaps that's not surprising, but when you put numbers to it, it becomes more real. For example, what we found was that 78% of the respondents say they're experiencing some sort of financial stress. Last year, that was 70%. So it's a significant increase, unfortunately. The other significant finding was that women seem to be, across the board, more stressed about all facets of life, including finances, compared to men. Generally 10 to 15% more stressed about home life, about finances, about their health, and so on. And there's some differences in terms of variations as to what people are doing. I would say those are probably some of the more significant findings.
Okay. All right, Benay, you've said that 62% of the middle class have unsustainable debt levels. Do we know what's leading to this increased financial stress? I'm assuming the high interest rates that we've been talking about this afternoon, obviously a contributor to that.
Yeah, definitely. Interest rates, we ask people when it comes to finances, what are your main concerns? What's making you stressed? And 50% said they're worried about running out of money before the end of the month, which, again, we probably know and feel this, but it was really important to put some numbers on it. 44% said they're struggling to pay off the debt at the end of the month. And this is a significant increase from 36% last year. So I think debt is really sort of catching up people. But interest rate increases came third. 23% of the people said they were really worried about it. And then 17% of the people said they're worried about load shedding and its impact. And this could mean that they're worried about potentially losing their jobs, or how they're going to make sort of ends meet, or how they're going to prepare food because of load scheduling schedules. So I think all these pressures are really putting a lot of strain on the South African consumer, who was already strained coming out of the pandemic in 2021. And I think that those are some of the reasons why we're seeing such severe strain on the finances.
But I thought it was interesting that even though people are stressed across the board, depending on how much you earn, you're stressed about different things. So you were saying that in terms of income bands, people who earn less than 5,000 Rand a month were more worried about school fees and debts. And then if you're earning 35,000 Rand or more, that's where you're concerned about interest rates. Wherever you are, you're stressed. How are people coping with this kind of stress, and how should they be coping?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. And I think, as they say, the detail is always important to understand. There are some variations with income bands. And I think what people are also doing about the money stress is different according to income bands. Across the board, we saw that a lot of people are, making budgets, and sticking to them from what they tell us. About 40% of the people said that they are they're trying to cut back on monthly spend, and this was across the board. The other interesting finding one was that those with earning lower incomes seem to be in the market for finding a higher paying or better job, which is perhaps not surprising, but as much as 48% of those, taking home 5,000 Rand or less, they're actively looking. And I think it's, of course, up to all of us to encourage these individuals. And I think one of the drawbacks of where we are financially as a country is that so much of our effort and energy is going to things like load shedding and security and logistics and providing for the basics, that we're unable to, as a society, help these individuals actually grow. And it's generally young people who are willing and wanting to grow. and grow their incomes, grow their skills and all of that. And I think that's where our focus should be as a community. South Africans have been absolutely amazing in terms of resilience, and we can certainly see as people are making a plan, coming together. And I think there's an opportunity to do more of that.
What would you suggest if someone is feeling not like they want to go out and make a plan, but they're just feeling overwhelmed by their financial situation and can't seem to see a way out?
Yeah, as they say, numbers don't lie. I think if you are feeling overwhelmed, firstly, I want to say is that you are not alone. One of the questions we asked people was, why haven't you done something about alleviating your money stress? And 1 out of 4 said they are stuck. They feel stuck. So you are not alone if you're feeling this way. 1 out of 5 said they don't know who to trust. And 1 out of 5, again, said they're embarrassed to ask for help. So I think all of us react differently to this situation. Some of us take it head on, and that's generally in the minority. We do something about it. But many of us feel either stuck or they're going to run away from the problem, or we actually don't know who to turn to. So I would say start talking about it, start communicating. This was one of the important findings. I think how men and women deal with this money stress differently. Women tend to talk about it more. They share it and they sort of flock together and try to make a plan as a community. And I would urge all of us to do that. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get to an outcome, but you can also see this from an age group perspective. As people get older, they talk about their debt and finances more openly, and they feel a bit more relaxed about it. Talking and sharing with others also opens up avenues to find a solution. So I think the first thing is, again, going back to the numbers, understand what your position is financially. Look at the numbers in terms of your income, your payments, and so on. Establish for yourself where you are in the spectrum, what percent of your income, net income, you're paying towards debt. And then I think work from there, talk to people to see what avenues are available to you. There are certainly solutions, and I think we would urge our consumers to seek out those solutions.
All right, Benay Sager, the head of Debt Busters, just joining us there to talk about that survey that they do into financial strain and stress in South Africa. Really appreciate your time this afternoon.